friends. Today is Sunday, June the 28th, and this month you'll remember we are learning all about faith, which is trusting in something that we cannot see because of what we can't see. Just like the wind or the breeze from the fan that is blowing this pinwheel right now, I believe that that's what is causing it to turn, even though I can't see the breeze. I believe and I trust with my heart in Jesus as God's Son, and I believe that all of God's promises in His Word for us are true because I have faith in Jesus. And I want you, friends, to learn how to grow your faith in Jesus this summer too. Now, if you will remember, we have been talking about Paul for the last couple weeks. Now, we didn't meet him when his name was Paul. His name was Saul, and he was working against Jesus. He was telling people, this Jesus guy, he is not God's son. This is wrong information. But he was wrong. And one day, Jesus stopped him on the road and showed a bright light that blinded him and said, Saul, what are you doing? I am Jesus. I am God's son, and I want you to tell everyone about me. And so he changed his life, and he changed his name, and he gave him a purpose, and he sent him on his way. And Paul spent the rest of his life telling everyone that he could about Jesus. We're going to talk some more today about how having faith in Jesus was able to help Paul even when he had problems. Just because he started loving Jesus and following God doesn't mean he never had a bad day. In fact, we all have bad days. Have you ever had something that you are worried or upset about or that makes you feel kind of sad? We all do. We all have days like that. Sometimes things happen that make us feel happy, and sometimes things happen that make us feel sad. And our faith can help us in all of those times, and we're going to talk about that today. So Katie May is here with me, and she's going to play a game with me. And I have these plates that have a happy face and a sad face on either side, and we are going to use spatulas to try to flip them over. So I'm going to be the grumpy goat, and I'm going to try to turn all the plates to the sad side. Is that the sad side? Green. And Katie May is going to try to flip all the plates to the happy purple side. And we're going to do it for 10 seconds and see who can flip the most plates over to their side. There's only 6 plates, so it shouldn't take too long. All right. Let's see. Katie May, get in position. Oops, I did that wrong. There we go. Okay. Can you see all of them? All right, yes, we're going to count backwards from 10. Ready, mark, set, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. I think that one was purple. Let's see. All right, friends, let's see. How did that go? Well, we have 3 purple and 2.
That 4?
What? That was on the 4. Okay. We have 4 purple and 2 green. So that means that the happy one, which is perfect. Yay! Because we're going to learn today how having faith in Jesus can help us see our problems or our sad times differently. So let's get back to our friend Paul. Now, last week we talked about how Paul was in the city of Athens and he saw all of these statues or idols to gods that were not real gods. They were worshiping the wrong thing, and they had an idol to this unknown God, and Paul said, I'll tell you about that God. You know what, friends? That is the God, the only God, who made the whole world and who made you and me and who loves us so very much. And Paul told everyone everywhere he went about God. Well, as we said last week, sometimes people didn't appreciate Paul's message and the news he was sharing, and sometimes they got angry. And Paul ended up in jail. And even when he was going to the king to tell about what he had done, if he was guilty, he, instead of talking about himself, he talked about Jesus because he wanted that king to know about Jesus too. Paul wanted everybody to know the good news about Jesus. Well, this king was like, well, I don't think you did anything wrong, but I don't really know what to do with you, and all the people were so mad at you. I'm going to send you to Rome. So he sent him to a bigger king who could make a decision about what to do with Paul. Now, to get to Rome, they had to travel in a boat, a ship. It was probably a pretty big ship. There were about 275 people or so in the ship. So it was pretty full, and they were prisoners. So this was not like a vacation on a cruise ship to Rome. This was, you're a prisoner and you're being sent to a different court or a different judge by boat. Now, Paul knew, God had told him, there's something wrong with this boat. There's going to be a shipwreck and a big storm. And Paul warned the people, but they didn't listen to him, and they went anyway. And so while they were out on the water going to Rome, sure enough, There was a lot of rain, and there was a lot of wind. Whoops. Maybe their fan worked. And there was lightning, and it was a bad storm, and it got so dark that they couldn't see anything, and they were stuck out at sea for 2 weeks, and they ran out of things to eat, and they were starving. And do you know what? In the middle of this storm, Paul could have really felt bad for himself. He could have been like, man, this is a bummer. I am a prisoner. I'm stuck on this boat. I'm going to die in this shipwreck. What in the world? But do you know what he did instead, friends? The Holy Spirit led Paul to be an encouragement to the people on the boat. And he said, friends, we do not need to be afraid. I know that God has a plan for our lives, and we are going to be okay. And I trust God and his plan. And he helped encourage the other people on the boat and helped keep them safe and helped them have things to eat. And sure enough, they landed on an island, and Paul was able to tell everyone about Jesus. Now, when he got to the island, he got bitten by a snake, and some of the people said, well, there's your bad luck again. And even that situation, Paul was able to use to tell people about how God had protected his life and had a plan for his life and had a plan for theirs too. He healed sick people, and he helped many other people to hear the good news about Jesus, even when he was a prisoner in a shipwreck, bitten by a snake, and being sent to maybe another jail. He didn't know. Paul chose to keep trusting in Jesus. The Holy Spirit, I want to read this to you because I thought it was so good, made Paul able to believe in God's promises, and his faith in God helped him encourage the other passengers on the boat in a very difficult time. It would have been natural and easier for Paul to focus on himself when he was afraid, but Paul heard a promise from God and chose to encourage the others with the same promise. The Holy Spirit helped Paul have courage to trust in God in a very scary situation. Paul chose to encourage his friends in this. Oops, I already read that one. And his example helped the passengers learn that they could trust in God too. And friends, that is how Paul used his faith to help him believe and look at his problems differently. Now, I want us to look at these plates a little bit more closely. See if I can do this right. So the smiley face, they're really the same on both sides. If I just turned it the other way, it would look like a frowny face. And I'm sure you've heard someone say before, turn that frown upside down. And that's what our faith can do for us, friends. Our trust and our belief in a God who made the world and who made each one of us and who loves you more than anything in this world and is always with you, will never leave you. The faith in that God, friends, is what can help us to turn our worries or the things that may scare us or make us sad and help us to be happy and joyful. And so in your box this week, you have a few things that you can play with. So since our faith helps us to see our problems differently, instead of seeing himself in a shipwreck, Paul saw an opportunity to encourage people and help them and teach them about Jesus. There's several tools in your box that you can use to see things differently. So you have some binoculars. You can use them to see things up close and learn about them. You can take these outside and look for butterflies or bugs or birds. And you also have some little magnifying glasses. Some of the little bitties have bigger magnifying glasses, but you can use those to look at things differently and see how looking through this lens changes the way things look. Just like looking through our faith in Jesus and choosing to see that first. And our trust in Jesus helps us see our problems in a different way. Now, the other fun thing you can do, if your mom says it's okay, you can dump everything out of your box, put a little bit of water in it, and if you don't have a boat, you can make one, even just out of like some foil. You just kind of turn it into the shape of a boat, and it'll float for a little while. Anyway, and have fun maybe playing in the tub or in the pool with your shipwreck. Now, we are going to sing a song and to help us remember to trust Jesus in the storms or in the troubles. And you may know this song, and you can sing with me. All right, you ready, friends? I'm going to take this off because I'm going to move, and I don't want to hit my face. So we're going to say Christ for Jesus and my vessel. And a vessel is like a boat. A boat is a vessel, something that carries you. I can smile at the storm. Okay, you ready? Here we go. With Christ in my vessel, I can smile at the storm. Smile at the storm. Smile at the storm. With Christ in my vessel, I can smile at the storm as we go sailing on. Sailing, sailing on. Sailing, sailing on. With Christ in my vessel, I can smile at the storm as we go sailing on. All right, friends, I love you. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye.